Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's John. I'm 61 years old, and after 39 years in corporate America, I've decided I'm done. 61 and done. I'm not ready to retire. I'm not going to kick back and do nothing. Instead of retiring, I'm going to reinvent. So this channel is about my journey. I'm going on a bit of a discovery here to think about some new ways to make a living, some new ways that I'd like to enjoy my life. And I want to share those with you. And here we go. So I'm going to start at the beginning. And for me, the beginning is why. So here are my 5 reasons why I decided to leave my corporate job. Reason number 1, I was lacking motivation. When I first started my corporate career back when I was 22 years old, I had left college. I was in a pretty good field. I was working for a large company. I was working in the technology space. It was the 1980s, and technology was very different. It was way different than it is now. But it was motivating. I mean, it was just great to have a new job, great to be working at all, right? Being out on my own. That was motivating. I was getting an opportunity to do things that you really don't do when you're in the high school or the college setting, right? So I was learning new things. I was working with teams, and I was part of a corporate environment. That was definitely motivating. Throughout my career, I've had an opportunity to work on a number of really interesting projects, work with some good teams, and all the time just felt motivated, not just by the paycheck, but by the things I was doing and the places that I was getting to go and the types of work I was getting to do, the results that were coming. So it was highly motivating. But for me, over the last few years, something changed. I just wasn't feeling that spark anymore. I just wasn't feeling that motivation. I've tried a few things. I thought about maybe making a career change, but I've really decided that as a result of that, part of some of the things I'm going to talk about, that it's time to do something completely different. Reason number 2, started to think about the value of my time. I have to say, when you get in your 60s, you start to think about, or at least I've started to think about time differently. Um, when you're young, boy, you just don't think about, life in that big way for sure. I sure didn't. It was just, it was always something new, something next. At 60, I still think, I've tried to stay healthy. I want to stay active. And part of this journey is I want to do new things. But let's face it, if I go another 39 years in this world, and I hope I can, I'll be 100. And somewhere along the way there, I know I'm going to slow down. Things are going to change for me. We all run a risk that our health won't go the way we expect. Things happen, they're out of our control. And so I think you really do, and I did, start to look at time differently. And I value my time, and I want to use that time wisely. And as part of that, I don't believe anymore that being in a day-to-day corporate environment, working a job like that, is what's right for me. And I'm going to find new ways to spend my time. Reason number 3, what I really started to think about over the last 39 years: interests, passions, activities, pursuits that I've put on the side, that I've given up. I had to put on pause. I tried to strike a really good balance between my corporate work life and my personal life and my interests, but it's hard. You spend a lot of your day when you're in a corporate job. You have deadlines, you have meetings you have to be at. If you travel, you have things you have to do. For me, there was times in my career where I had a pretty long commute, as much as 2.5 hours each way when I was working in the city and living in the suburbs. And that's a big chunk of your day. And so even if you keep some of your interests, like at times in my career, I liked to play golf. I continued to do so. There's other things, I've always loved to read, and I've been, passionate about fitness for a long time in my career, but they're on the side. They're not the main part of your life. You carve out time, and honestly, I felt like I can't do them justice. And so that's another reason. I just felt like after 39 years, I owe it to myself. And I definitely want to, again, reacquaint myself with some of these things. It was time to explore those hobbies, those interests, things that I've done in the past. And frankly, to move on to some things that I've thought about doing that I never made the time for. So that leads to reason number 4. I don't want to be defined by a job anymore. And what I mean by that is, again, when you work in these corporate environments, and as I talked about when I was young, it was exciting, right? And so you get to be a part of these environments. The pay is good. For me, it was. Like I said, I was pretty successful at what I did. But when you think about it, it actually becomes a big part of who you are. And as I thought about it as I'm getting older in my 60s, I don't think I want that anymore. So, what I mean by that is, you meet new people. So I recently had an opportunity to go to my high school reunion, and you meet people, and invariably people ask you, "So what do you do?" Or they ask you about yourself, and you talk about your job. I mean, you literally, when people would ask me about me, one of the first things I'd always do was describe what I did for a living. And I think it's time to stop that. So I want to be more than that job. I don't want to be defined by a job anymore. It's time to do new things. And that's a part of what this channel is about and what this part of my life is going to be about. The last reason, and it has more to do with timing than the why, but it was like, why now? So clearly at 61, I could have made the decision, just go for another few years, maybe go for another year and I'll be eligible for Social Security, go for a few more years, reach full retirement age, all that time, save more money. There's a lot of people who advise that. And I think that if that's right for you, you should do it. If you're enjoying what you do and you've got the other things covered, then definitely there's no reason that I would say you have to leave. But for me, I felt like it was just going to be, there was always going to be a reason. There was always going to be one more year, 2 more years. I've seen people do this, chasing something that I was never really going to catch. I've known people who made those decisions. They went, they decided that one more project, make a big bonus at the end of that project, a few more years, and then something happens. They either left and retired and had something happen then, or they were in that final stretch and the project, took its toll on them. It was very stressful. They maybe weren't performing as well. So I think you got to know. And for me, I knew it's just time to step away. So those are my 5 reasons. Those are my reasons why. So now what? So I have some plans. I have some ideas. I'm going to use this channel for sure to talk about those. I want to share what I'm doing, share some lessons. And I'm going to be mostly, like I said, exploring and coming up with new ways to look at my time, to look at my life and reinvent myself, but without the corporate job. That is done, 61 and done. So thanks for watching and being here with me today. I'm excited to go on this journey and I hope you're going to come along with me. So if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel so that we can continue this journey together. And again, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day. Hope to see you soon.